Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, and it's a big day here at PAC 14 because we've got the boss is in the house, Bob Culver, our county executive. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Greg.
So thanks for being here.
I enjoy it.
7 months. How's it going?
It's going great. Challenging, to say the least, but it's been wonderful. I think we've got a lot of progress we've already made, and we've got a lot of plans for the future.
That's funny. That's our headline in the paper this week with your interview. You say you're making progress.
I feel like we are. I mean, we've gotten a lot of changes, and people were afraid of change originally, and but once they learn to accept it and go along with it and realize it's not that much of a change, it's just a change to make Wycomico better.
What's been the hardest thing that you've had to face since you've been in?
Wanting to be a hands-on executive, as I am with all my business in the past, the time. It's just, is there enough time for me to do it? And I'll run between 12 and 14 hours a day now. I come in on the weekends and read and catch up on all the different manuals and that type of thing that I need to read. But it's a time constraint. I wish I had more time. Wish I had more energy some days.
Is it fun or is it a burden?
It's fun. It really is. I mean, it's fun when you know you're making a positive change. And that's what's really exciting about it.
And when you go out and you encounter people, what kind of feedback are you getting?
Like the old Ivory commercial, I'm 99.9% that most people have come up to me and they said they really like what we're doing. They like the fact that we're making change. They don't all agree with all the change, but it's being changed, and that's what they want to see.
So economic development was something you ran on real hard.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about what you want to do to market the county and to grow the economy here. I hear Republicans are taking some hits on not creating enough jobs, perhaps. And what's the environment for creating jobs? Where are you on that mission?
True. My budget for this year has $685,000 in the economic development division. I know I've read those where we're not doing enough right now, but my budget doesn't start until July 1st.
Right.
You know, everybody needs to kind of wait till the next 2 weeks or so. And what we're doing, we're actually opening up an economic development office. We're doing the street presence. The old P&C Bank at the Masonic Lodge building on North Division Street, the county is taking that over. 2 reasons. We're out of space in the building. Between the city's offices and the county's offices, we're out of space. So our engineering, our public works is moving into that building there, along with our economic development team in the front part of the building.
Are you going to rent that or buy it? Or?
We're renting it.
Okay.
It's owned by the Masonic Lodge. We have about 11-month lease on it. We don't know what's going to happen there at that point in time, but
right.
So we're going to start there. We want a presence on Main Street, more or less, to show people what we're trying to do. We'll work very closely with SWED again and working with our staff to go ahead and start new projects.
Now, you're talking about you've also formed an economic committee.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about the makeup of that and what their mission is going to be.
Well, I have people that represent the agricultural community. I have people that represent the governmental agencies, part of that community. As far as my goal was to try to make it and find out the regulations, people that control the regulations, people that control entrepreneurial type businesses, and people that work with the CEOs of the major companies, to find out all those together what needs to be changed in Wycomico County to make it seem to be business friendly. We've got restrictions on us brought down by the state that we have no control over. Working with Governor Hogan's office, we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to say, look, this is affecting not only Wycomico County, but the whole region. And I say the whole region, it's the region from the Bay Bridge over. I have been very lucky over the past years to be associated with MACO. And through that, I have gotten to know most of all the commissioners and county council people from Kent County, Queen Anne's County, Dorchester, Talbot, Somerset, and Worcester. And have gotten a bond with them. And we work very closely together with MACO. I hope to start bringing all the counties together, especially Worcester, Somerset, Dorchester, and Wycomico, the 4 counties here on this side, closest to the ocean in between the bay for us. So we're going to work very strongly on trying to start a regional type of economic development.
I was really intrigued by your idea of getting some of these community leaders, these developer guys, as ambassadors to go out and sell the county, sell the assets of the county to people from other places to bring in perhaps some manufacturing or some other type business.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, who best to sell the area than somebody that's already here? I mean, if you were looking at a subdivision to move into, you would say, you'd talk to people that you knew that lived in that
right.
subdivision. Do you like it there? Do you like what happens at night or whatever? And so that's the best people, the salesmen of Wycomico County are the people that do have the businesses here now. So I have got to find out what it is that they like about the county. I mean, I know personally from my businesses what I like, what I didn't like. We got together yesterday and started to make a permitting process, trying to make it easier. Wayne Strasburg, my director of administration, along with my Leslie from the finance department,
Right.
we're trying to make it so it's easier. There's nothing worse in Wycomico County than trying to get a business license. They send you to 4 different places, and I mean, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, you know, when I started my little business, we went to see if we needed a business license, and no one could tell us.
Yeah, I mean,
Between the city and the county, no one really quite knew.
quite knew what to do. So
Yeah.
I mean, so those are the kind of things in working with the legal department we're trying to find out. So it had to start somewhere. The first 5 months, I'm going to tell you, I was swamped with the budget. Now that that's been approved, and I'm very proud of that, as I've told you, the fact that there were no cuts, no changes made in the budget, and I'm more proud for the people of Wycomico County that we're not going to have a tax raise or a fee raise on anything. So I kept that promise that I ran on. We were able to find $3.6 million within the budget, if you say cutting the fat, whatever, to make it work. We lost a lot of money from the state this year, and we had several things between FOP, the Board of Education. Our health insurance is going up 12% on some people. We had a lot of things to come out, but I would tell you all my department heads did a wonderful job of cutting the bone as much as they could.
Right now, when the budget was presented, or when you first started the exercise, you asked for a 2.5% cut in each department, but
Yes.
they went ahead of that. They got more than that out.
I had an average of 6.5% is what the total cut they made, and that by doing that kept us at $3.5 million. We were able to do without raising taxes. We had some staffs, I mean, everything went as high as 11, 12%. Even the state's attorney's office, and I have to comment very complimentary towards Matt Massarella on what he was able to do with his department. He knew he needed to function money to certain areas, and that's where he did. And subsequently, we've been able to come give him some things that he needed to do.
It's funny in the history of the county how the different spending needs swing from issue to issue. One year, all of a sudden, we need more law enforcement and more help with state's attorneys. Next year, it's education. What do you think it'll be next year? What will be the squeaky wheel next year?
Well, certainly one thing is roads. We've got a lot to do on our infrastructure. And in order to attract businesses, we have to have our infrastructure right. We can't ask a business to come here and then say, oh, sorry, we don't have water and sewer to you, you know, to do that kind of thing. So we have to make and work well with the city to try to get all those functions done. And that's what we're working on now. I mean, we've had several meetings with the city on different items, and meanwhile we can ask different questions. We want to make sure that we are business friendly, and that comes from the county regulations, but we want to make sure that our roads are right so that we can do that. You know, one thing that's going to be very important to Salisbury is going to be the Port of Salisbury. We need to find a piece of land that's going to be suitable for that. I don't believe that where it was asked to be originally is going to be suitable for that. We have many people on the streets across from the residential streets.
The Ridge Road crowd, yeah.
The Ridge Road crowd and Crestwood and all that area that, you know, have some concerns. And I have to agree with them. I had some concerns too. So as executive, I'm not pushing that area at all. We're going to go a little bit further downriver, and we've got Nanticoke Road to work with, and that's a good road. Riverside Drive, if we found something on that side. So we need to be more careful.
There's the Beezer property down there, the old where they made
Coppers.
Whatever that field is there. I always wondered whether they would develop that in some sort of a industrial.
They say that one of the problems there is probably the way it silts in right on the river, right by that area. That's something we've looked at that property. If I say looked at, we have considered that, and we have to ask some questions. The question is that if we were to dig new slips in there for ports, slips to load barges and that kind of stuff, would we then disturb the ground?
Right. There's creosote and all kinds of stuff
There's
in that soil there.
There are some problems in there, so we don't know if we would disturb. We could certainly cap it and use that part of it, but as to dig down and actually build new waterways in there, I don't know if that would work.
Yeah.
So.
We have a story coming up in the paper about the expansion again at Chesapeake Shipbuilding.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the great economic engine stories of our community.
Tony Severn has done a great job over there, and it's great. I mean, they're good paying jobs. They've gotten great contracts.
And they're hiring. They
are
need
hiring.
people.
They need people that have skills. They need people that have welding. And we have 2 or 3 different organizations in town that want to stress very much on that. We're having meetings in another week or so as far as storage areas for the wind farm. We're going to try to find areas, and that's why we hope to find something, a port area that we could bring things in by water, but store them for the wind farms offshore. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. It's just there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, and we just have to make sure that we are prepared for it.
Right. One of the things you took a hit on a little bit was this issue with West Salisbury School, and it seemed like it maybe derailed you, not derailed you, but distracted you from some of the other things that you wanted to get done. And that issue has sort of dragged on, but now there's been a development. There is an agreement to build the smaller school.
Yes, as a matter of fact, what happened originally, when I first sworn in the office on December the 2nd, that was the night we had to present the budget
Right.
to the council. I pulled the $1.2 million. I then sent a group of us went over to look at it and see what we could do as far as remodeling.
And this was money that was set aside just to keep the thing on track with the state and with everyone else.
Right. We put $2 million in set aside for that, either to decide to go ahead and
Right.
put air conditioning and new windows in the school.
And it would have been bonded too.
It would have been bonded
Right.
later. Yeah, once it came up from our next bond session will be probably in in November of this year.
Right.
So we'll go to bond again, but it was decided by the council that they would prefer to go ahead and build the school for the 350 student school, and we gave our letter to Dr. Frederickson about a week and a half ago that we are in agreement to that. So it's on track to have that done.
So are you excited about this? Are you chagrined? What's your attitude on this?
I still feel that it could be remodeled. I'll be honest with you. I mean, look at what we did to North Salisbury School. Look at what we did to Pemberton School. Look at what we did to Prince Street. Again, and then we've got a new school. We have Willards. That's probably one of the nicest schools. I just went down there the other week to read to that. That's a great little school, you know. So why aren't we looking at rebuilding that type of school? I think we ought to have a set plan for all the elementary schools should look alike. All the middle schools should look alike. All the high schools should look alike. We have such a diversity of styles and you know, whatever. And I just, you know, feel that that's what a waste of money to a certain extent.
Right. So by building the smaller school, the school board wasn't quite sure if they wanted the bigger school or the smaller school. If they had the bigger school, they could save expenses ultimately. Mm-hmm. But it also would have forced a redistricting decision and kind of maybe affect that neighborhood school issue.
Well, I agreed with Dr. Frederickson. It would probably be cheaper to run a larger school than it would be several smaller schools. But I would not agree to the 650 till I knew that the vetting of the redistricting was completely done. So now if you want to go with this one now, then we go ahead and go with what we've got. Or if you want to have the bigger school, I want to see all the redistricting done.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair for us to go to Del Mar and say, all right, we're gonna bring some of your students in here, go to Pittsville and do that. No, these people have bought homes in Del Mar to go to Del Mar Elementary and Del Mar High School. People have bought homes in Pittsville to be in there. If that's the case, then that's what we need to keep it. You know, that's just the way the county has developed, and it's not going to happen over the next 3 years, 5 years. It'll be 10 or 15 years before something like that can happen.
Yeah. So what would be the timetable on this new school, do you think?
Well, it's still on track. There were some misconceptions, and I need to make sure that everybody knows that there was money set aside by the council that I was on to do air conditioning for West Salisbury School. But the problem was the Board of Education was not ready. It was turned down by the IAC. Right. Not by the county council, not by the executive.
And the IAC is the state agency that the interagency governmental, whatever it's called, and that
they're the ones that give the rest of the money.
Right, they decide whether the state should invest in certain.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
And it was turned down at that point in time. So this school came up for air conditioning for the 2015 year. So that was back during 14, and the council voted on it. And we put up our money, our share of the money. But things just didn't go right for some reason or another. I don't know. I mean, we may never know what the reasons were. So anyhow, and then when I did my preliminary study, I put money, $2 million aside to go ahead and do the air conditioning. But at that time, that was when the school was decided they wanted to go ahead and build new. Right. So it was a battle I'm not willing to fight, you know, remodel. I would like to have seen it remodeled, but if the council wants to go along with that, I'm going to back the council.
And then you had that idea with Bennett Middle to convert that to
yeah.
to the central office for the school board.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But maybe got to the party too late on that one?
I was too late for what the Board of Education wanted, yes.
Right.
But when I suggested that, there had never been a contract let on demolition, and they kept saying, oh, you're too late, you're too late. I wasn't too late. It may have changed some plans up, true, but it still could have been done. But, you know, again, the council decides what they want to do, so I'm not here to argue with the council, I'm here to work with the council. So they have 7 minds, I have 1, so we'll work together.
And I was amazed when you went to Bennett High School and you sat there and took the questions from the students, and they weren't all polite questions. I guess they were all polite.
Kids were great. They really were.
They were tough. They were smart kids.
They were very smart kids. I was very impressed with.
I thought it took a lot of courage to go in there.
Well, I'm not afraid to answer the questions. It's not that I'm, you know, always going to be agreed with or anything else, but you know, I'm giving my honest answer, and I will, you know, always confront the answers as much as I can.
It was one of those things. I thought it was going to be like the political affairs class, so it might be like 30 kids, but then all the athletes from the school were also there, filled the cafeteria. The event went on for over an hour.
It did,
and a lot of tough questions. I learned a lot from those kids.
When I got done pulling all the little arrows out after they had shot at me, it was nice. It really was. I was glad to see the community involvement and with the kids. You know, did I win that one? No, but it was a great battle to take on and meet the children and talk to them. There's some very intelligent kids coming through our school system now, and I'm amazed by them and I'm proud of them.
So then, as a citizen and someone who certainly has access to the news, I didn't see the urgent need to move central office. And I guess you must have known that maybe something was afoot, because right after that, the administration, the school board announced that they're renting space in North Salisbury. They're going to leave the central offices. So I didn't think that had been telegraphed exactly as a resident, as a constituent. What do you think about that decision?
I have to agree with you. I didn't see the urgency. I know they had what they call the portables out there, and a lot of staff is there. But
I mean, I know they've been suffering for a long time, and I feel bad for that. But I didn't see, you know, an imminent decision on this.
Well, let me give you a little bit of history on that. Dr. Frederickson, Dr. Townsend, and Mr. Ford and Brian Foray all came in to see me. We have it down on May the 7th to tell us about this. Their calendar says sometime in April, but we have it on our calendars May the 7th.
These are all great and competent guys. I mean,
they
know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Yeah. We had no control. The county has no control over what they do. And let me make that perfectly clear right now. We got a copy of the lease, and it was actually signed on May the 5th. So we were advised 2 days after it was already done. Do I agree with it? Not entirely, no. I would rather have put that money towards rebuilding or adding on. We have 13 acres that goes along with the site of the Board of Education office. I would rather have gone out and bonded money to rebuild that and added on to it and gotten rid of the portables, you know, a wing here, a wing there. I didn't see the urgency to do that. But again, we have no control over it. What bothers me more than anything is they kept saying they needed money. They needed money for second language teachers, ESOL teachers.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they find $300,000, $400,000 to go make this move. I mean, where did this come from? So, whatever the reason, you know, that's something they've got to live with, because I'm basically a maintenance of effort executive.
Right.
I don't see me coming anything above maintenance of effort for my term, and not when they can spend money like that and not have to answer to it.
But does that send a bad message? Does it make it seem like you don't care about education? Can people, you know, surmise that based on that attitude?
They got an extra $10 million from the state this year. So why do you go out looking for more money when you got $10 million more above last year? No, I don't think it sends out a bad message. It sends out a message, we need to take care of our stuff. And the biggest thing that we have problem with the Board of Education, not the people, they're all great people, is our buildings are not being taken care of. And you know, West Salisbury should never be in the shape that it's in. East Salisbury, you know, another school that needs air conditioning. Why are we not working on that? And we're instead trying to build new schools. Why don't we fix up what we've got first? And that's where I come from. I mean, the schools aren't new, but then Wycomico County is not the richest county in the state. We're down at the bottom.
Right.
And for those of us that live here and grew up here, it's a great place, and we love it like it is. But for the fact of ours being monetarily challenged, we are.
Good news that agreement with the Shorebirds with 7th inning stretch has been finalized, so things are going to continue at the stadium there.
It looks like for the next 20 years we'll have minor league baseball here in Wycomico County.
Now, that was something that was in the process, and you kind of inherited that. Did that go okay?
A lot of the lease had already been negotiated through Andy Wisk in Parks and Recreation and Shorebirds, so I had really not a whole lot to do on it. When I got into it, there was a few items, and we brought those to a head and worked those out real quickly. But that's a great asset. I mean, even if we didn't make the $100,000 a year that we make, and that's the biggest complaint we heard, that for the size of the investment, we're not making enough money.
And that number hasn't changed over the years.
It has not changed over the years. But the point is what it brings to the county as far as tourism dollars, what it brings to the county as far as pride, those kind of things. If it was a break even, it would be worth it. So, sometimes you're not in it to make the money. You're into it for what it does for the people of Wycomico County.
So the stadium's getting some upgrades.
Had some upgrades that need to be done through the Maryland Stadium Authority. They
get a new field.
They handle what they tell us what they need to have done, and the new field's being done after this season. We'll have that put in, and again, that field has not been replaced, so that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
It's interesting. It really is. I mean, to see the inside workings of it from where I am now versus, from just a tourist going out and watching the games.
Right.
It's been really interesting.
Now, that's a county facility, public, private, quasi, mixed up thing. Mm-hmm. You turn to the Civic Center, which is a purely county facility. What's the future for that? Where you want to, I mean, people tried to take on the Civic Center, whether to privatize it, how to make it operate more like a business. This is a county thing. What's your thought on the Civic Center's future?
I think it's got a great future. There's two things that has to be brought to the attention, and we've got to, first of all, we have got to go ahead and upgrade a little bit. Our seats need to be upgraded in there, things like that. I think Chuck Russo is doing a wonderful job out there getting in some good acts. I mean, we had the Celtic women playing this week,
right.
And we see them on Maryland Public Broadcasting all the time, but to see them live is quite a show. I was fortunate enough to see them at Hippodrome, and got my tickets all ready for this show. So,
that's good.
But I see a lot of future with it. I mean, we need to upgrade it. We've got some money that's got to be spent that the state gave us to upgrade, and we're right now in the process of trying to get that worked out, what we're going to do. The old tile floors seem to be something that dates it. So the new carpet style that you see in Virginia Beach, we went around and looked at several different new arenas that are being built now and how to upgrade ours to meet those. So we're doing it. And one of the next things that's got to be confronted is the alcohol.
That's what I wanted to get to. I mean,
well, just bring it on. I don't care.
Well, I'm hearing out there that you guys are going to get serious on this thing. You're going to really investigate it now and see what could be done to possibly allow alcohol there. Now, you're allowed to bring beverages in,
right?
But the county can't sell it.
It's been done for the last 30 years. I mean, it goes back to when we were in JC's, those years when they used to have the New Year's Eve party there.
Right. You bring in your own,
bring your own booze type thing. And
my father had this big, elaborate case that he used to carry it in. It was as precious as my golf clubs, practically.
The covenant says that we are not allowed to dispense it. So now, what is dispense? Does it mean you bringing it in or something? Somebody needs to give us an actual. So I think the whole thing has been violated over many years.
Right.
Several councils. I don't have a problem with it. I think Shorebird Stadium, that was a question when we first built Shorebird Stadium. That's never had a problem that I'm aware of, and I've talked to Mike Lewis, and there's not been any bad things that have happened because of that. Honestly, and then again, that ball field that was built on that has been moved, and so that's not it. I mean, I would like to go ahead and honor Mr. Woodcock, okay? And in all honesty, I think the new ball fields that we're going to build on Leavenworth Shield Road should probably be called the Franklin Woodcock ball fields, and actually keep them ball fields. This has been changed, and like I say, it was changed 40, 50 years ago when they built the first Civic Center. That was not what Mr. Woodcock gave that property for.
And just for the viewers, the history is Franklin Woodcock donated the land.
Yes, for a ball field.
Yeah, and he was a teetotaler. His mother was teetotaler, and they made it a covenant that you could not have alcohol
at the Civic Center, or on that
land, or on the location that moved around.
For that ball field.
So the idea might be to memorialize Mr. Woodcock somewhere else and transfer that covenant to another property, and then have the Civic Center be in the clear.
True.
Okay.
So I mean, but there's so much, we've got potential. I see us looking at Virginia Beach, like the amphitheater down there. I think that's something we should look at. We got 250,000 people on a weekend we can pull from Ocean City. And 30 miles to come down, or 27 miles would be an easy trip for a concert. there's no reason we can't make money with it, you know. If we could get the minor league hockey, minor league basketball team, just like we have a minor league baseball team, it would just be such an asset and makes things pay for themselves. I mean, that's what we'd like to have done anyhow in that kind of case. So there's a lot to be done, and like I say again, Chuck Russo and I think Andy Wisk is doing a great job, and Steve Miller with the tourism department for our USSA tournaments, USSSA tournaments, yeah.
Right.
So many S's there. But anyhow, so that's going great. We're up to I think 400 teams this year, and it's just, you know, amazing to see how that's taken off. And our partnership with Ocean City, Worcester County, that's been a great thing because they have the hotel rooms,
right.
We have the ball fields. So we need new ball fields, and we're going to add to that too. So we're looking at doing that side right at the Henry Parker complex now. So that should be in the works this year.
Summertime, everyone's distracted, but in the fall, you're going to get tough on your economic thing again.
Well, it's getting tough right now. I mean, here comes July.
Okay.
As soon as the budget allows me to start, you know, drawing money to start this, we're getting tough on it now. So,
right.
You know, it's something that we need, and we're going to keep on with it. So, I mean, we're not slowing down. I'm not the type that goes out and has to put something on Facebook every day or something like that. Maybe I need to so people can see it, but we're working very much behind the scenes now. So
yeah, I think you should. As an information guy, I mean, I'd like to know more about what you're up to.
Well,
I mean, I've complained to people
anytime,
that, yeah, I've got to call you and get you out of a meeting to find out what you did
well,
today.
you know, I'll answer any questions you've got. Sometimes they're not good from my side, but I'll answer it.
All right, I'm a citizen. I'm sitting home watching this thing. I'd like to talk to you. How can I reach you?
Our office number there at the executive's office is 410-548-4801, and they'll be glad to give you my cell number. I always hate to try to give people a number.
You've got a great little staff there.
I have a
they're
fantastic.
terrific.
I'm losing Susan Cropper. She retires here in about another week.
Yeah, I know her from Ocean City. Yeah.
She's been wonderful. I've known her for years through working, you know, the private. She was in planning and zoning and public works, and then she came on up into the executive's office. So I'm going to miss her expertise and her experience and just friendly. But I have Lisa Taylor. We have moved someone up in our office from that Tanner.
Lisa's tough.
Good, isn't she?
She drives you though, doesn't she?
She's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. She sets my calendar and does everything for me. Tells me where I'm supposed to be some days.
Yeah.
Tanner Pisa is coming up to take over Susan's place,
okay.
And so that's been good. He's a nice young man. It was funny. He said something. Can you type? He said he types 100 words a minute. It's like,
wow,
this is great, Tanner. So, but he's got the youth part of the IT part of it all together. So he's on top of that. So
good.
Hopefully we will be more versed coming July 1st here.
And you've got Wayne Strasberg, your administrator there.
Wayne is, and
he tells you what you can and can't do, right? Or
he does the budget. And he we'll talk about some things that I can and cannot do, but we discuss a lot, and we'll have meetings every morning. He and Sharon and I will talk about things that are pressing, and try to go back and catch what we talked about last week to make sure we don't drop anything through the cracks. They're both very knowledgeable people, and I'm fortunate to have both of them working with us. You know, again, I'm one that wants to prepare the county for what's going to come, and Wayne and Sharon both will want to retire sometime. So I feel like it's my job to start building that office to where people can take over and know what's going on, because whoever the next executive is, shouldn't have to come in with a new staff completely and try to learn what's going on, because there's a lot to be learned, needs to be learned. So
he's the man. He's Bob Culver. He's running our county. He's getting it done. Thank you, Bob.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, right here on PAC 14.